Good afternoon, everyone. We will be discussing how to enhance your Windows Virtual Desktop environment for better performance and security. Before I hand it over to Chris, I want to introduce you to our speakers for today. Christoph Khalaf is our CEO, Vint is our technical manager, and Sandeep, our technical consultant, who will be driving the demo. Let's move on to the agenda. So first of all, we're going to be introducing Windows Virtual Desktop, discussing migration opportunities, how it can help you simplify and scale in the cloud, and tools to help you get you started with your migration. And finally, we're going to show you a live demo and share with you our offers. Please type in your questions in the chat window so we can answer you directly. We would appreciate it if you can keep yourselves on mute. At the end of the webinar, the recording will be shared with you, but please make sure that you share with us your emails in the chat box in order for us to send it to you. Okay? Thank you. Chris, we can start now.
Yes. Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I can see that some new also people joined from the last webinar, and some of them are our customers or people that usually join. So thanks again. My name is Christoph Khalaf. I'm the CEO of Exquitech. I will start first by giving you a quick introduction, a quick brief about our company, and then after that we will move on the topics and discuss the webinar, the reason of the webinar today. So we are a Microsoft Gold partner. We've been awarded 4 years in a row Cloud Partner of the Year for Meta region. We operate in Middle East, Turkey, and Africa. And this is the only thing that we do. We're only specialized in cloud services. We only provide Azure, Microsoft 365, and value-added services on top of that, which is SharePoint Power Apps and data analytics. So the reason today of the webinar is to discuss about the Windows Virtual Desktop. So the Windows Virtual Desktop is a recent service introduced by Microsoft. It was introduced in end of 2019 on preview, and last year it has been updated and launched especially after the pandemic. So Windows Virtual Desktop, as I said, it's an Azure service that will allow you to virtualize entirely your environment and virtualize your desktop. So of course, if some of you have heard about VDI, which is the on-premise version of Windows Virtual Desktop, or Citrix, or any of the third party that used to do desktop virtualization. Today you have it as a service on Azure, which is super easy to deploy. So the main characteristics of the Windows Virtual Desktop and the benefits, you can see here that you have, as we will see in the demo, you have a very nice user experience. It's very easy to manage. The user experience is amazing. The performance is great. You will not feel a delay. It's different than the usual experience that you face on a daily basis with the remote desktop that you used to use, or the terminal service. So now it's completely different with Windows Virtual Desktop. The experience is way better, and the performance is way better. You can, of course, host multi-session. You can host multi-session on Windows 10, Windows 7. You can host them on Linux machines, on Windows machines. So you have the flexibility on hosting this. We will be digging more and discussing more about that. So some scenarios and some benefits also in the Windows Virtual Desktop. You have first, they abide with all the security regulations. So no need to worry about the security, because Microsoft is taking care, Microsoft is securing your connection between your environment and your PC with Azure. So no need for you to worry about securing this communication. It's already secured by Microsoft. So this is the first important thing, which is the security. You have an elastic workforce. What we mean by elastic workforce, meaning that you can have a variety of people, a variety of employees working on it. You can have third party. If you have subcontractors, if you have internal employees, whoever you need, you can just grant them access, and they will be able to work on this environment with their own roles and their own security and permissions. You also have the bring your own device capability, where you don't need anymore a specific or corporate device. Anyone can bring any device. We're talking about laptops, we're talking about mobile, tablets. So any device will have a thin client, a software that will be installed on this device, where you will be able to access your virtual environment. So this is the only thing that you need. You need internet, and you need to install this application to be able to access. And then, of course, the thing is that you will find whenever you access your virtual environment, your virtual desktop, you will find the applications that you have access to them, which is very important. So you're not reliant anymore on whatever is installed on your PC or the employee's PC, because none of it will affect anymore your environment or your network. They will only have access on whatever the administrator will be granting them on Windows Virtual Desktop. Okay, so the things, as we said, is that Windows Virtual Desktop is not similar as the RDS that you know, which is the Remote Desktop Services. It's a complete different technology. As we said before, it's very fast, it's very optimized. You can host multi-session on it. You don't need anymore the regular RDS calls that you used to add on it. Completely different technology. We will check it in during the demo. You can also have a hybrid environment. You can connect your local environment to WVD. You can either use WVD to access cloud applications and on-premise applications. So both of them are available, and you can benefit from them with WVD. You can also scale up and down very fast, very quickly. This is also a characteristic that is only available with Windows Virtual Desktop, where you can scale up. Let's say you have 100 sessions, 100 of concurrent sessions working together, and in the backend in Azure, you are having 2 virtual machines running. Let's say at the specific time during the day, those 100 concurrent users become 500 concurrent users. So here in this case, in a regular scenario on-premise, what might happen is that the performance of your server might be affected. Even sometimes your server might be down. Whereas in WVD, you have the option to scale out on whenever it's needed. So let's say 500 concurrent users just entered your applications. Automatically, you will have an extension from 2 virtual machines, for example, up to whatever you need. It can be 3, 4, or 10 virtual machines for a specific period of time. And whenever the 500 users becomes again 100 users, it will scale down and become 2 virtual machines. This way, you are completely saving on cost. This is where we talk about cost optimization, and you are not affecting the performance at all. And the other thing is that I'm pretty sure that most of you today uses the Microsoft Cloud Services already, which is the Office 365 or the Microsoft 365. So here they complement each other. If you have a license on Microsoft 365, automatically you can use this license as an access on Windows Virtual Desktop, and you can also use it to activate the Office 365 Pro Plus and the Windows 10, which is present on Windows Virtual Desktop. And you can use also, here Vince and Sandeep will also talk about this, how you can authenticate using an Azure Active Directory or even your local Active Directory. So both of them, you will be able to use them. So here, as we said, that the costs, you have lots of cost optimization. This is the power of WVD, cost optimization, scaling out, scaling down, performance, and accessibility. So those are the main things that you will see. Also, just a quick brief, since we will see this in the demo, you will have a nice user-friendly interface for the admin part, where you will be able to manage to create the virtual machine, to create the pool sets, to create all the rules and alerts that you can on WVD, to connect to a network just through a simple web application that you can access anytime, anywhere, and manage all the sessions and all the virtual machines running on WVD. So here the thing is that you can also, as I said, that WVD, Azure Active Directory, and Microsoft 365 are 3 pillars that work together. So let's say in case you need, I don't know if you've heard before of Azure Active Directory Premium, for example, where you have something called conditional access or the multi-factor authentication or the RBAC, which is the role-based access control. You can use those capabilities on WVD. So for example, if I want to access let my employee access their virtual environment. But for them to access their virtual environment, they should be in a specific network or in a specific country or in a specific IP, going out from a specific IP. I'm able to create those conditional access rules, and it will be applied on Windows Virtual Desktop. So this is where they complement each other. You can also use, as we said, the Azure AD authentication. You can also join the virtual machines to your local Active Directory or to Azure Active Directory. And of course, as we said, the security is being handled by Microsoft. So you are not using port 3389, which is a vulnerable port. You are using a web link, completely secured, encrypted, to communicate with the machines. So the thing is that there are many advantages between the traditional Windows Server desktop experience and the WVD and the regular VDI. So you have much more flexibility. You can use all the SaaS services of Microsoft 365 within WVD. So many advantages that we will see during the demo. Now, talking about the Azure consumption, just to give you a brief on it. Later on, also we'll go into the details. But on the Azure consumption, WVD consumes whatever you only use. So let's say you have, as we said before, the same example. If you are using two virtual machines during outside working hours, you are paying only for those two virtual machines turned on. If you are using during working hours 5 virtual machines, you are paying only for those virtual machines per hour. This is how it works. So whatever you scale up or you scale down, you're only paying for what you are consuming. This is the beauty of WVD. You're not investing, for example, in a hardware and paying lots of money on hardware, on backups, on licenses, all of that, and you are, for example, using half or quarter of whatever is needed. No, here you are only using whatever you want to use. So this is the most powerful thing of WVD. So a quick also brief about the licensing in case, because this is a common question that is usually asked on what are the licenses that will allow you to use WVD. So as you can see here for the enterprise licenses, you have the Microsoft 365 E3, the Microsoft 365 E5, A5, and A3, the F1 license, which is a very cheap license, and the Microsoft 365 Business, which most of you already have it. So those licenses will allow you to work on the WVD environment without any additional licensing costs. As for the Windows, of course, if you also have Windows 10 Enterprise or Windows 10 Education or Windows 10 VDA that comes with the OV licensing, you can also use it for WVD. So this is a quick detailed brief on WVD. Now we will jump to the demo where Vince and Sandeep will take over and will show you the interface and how it works. So up to you, Sandeep and Vince, please, if you can take over.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for these detailed information and the helpful one. Now with our live demo, we'll see all the information that already Chris mentioned. We'll see it live. Our live demo will be divided into two main parts: the user interface and the admin interface, where the admin, they can control the accessibility and the security, and they can manage everything for the users, the big number of users which they are accessing WVD. So we'll start with the end user interface, the user interface and the look and feel, how the end user will access this environment, how they can easily run any application hosted, and how they will access the Windows 10, which is hosted from Azure using WVD, and how fast they will see it. So Sandeep, please, if you can start sharing your screen.
Yes, Vance. Yes, hope everyone able to see my screen. Like as we discussed, we'll start from the end user perspective, how they'll log in, like what are the ways they can log into the WVD. They can log in from any thin client, like any of the laptop, tablet, or even from the browser. They can log into the WVD. I'll show you the first. There is a client for Windows application, like which is called Remote Desktop Application. They can authenticate with their Office 365 credentials, and they'll get the access to the resources that they have access. This is a thin client that we have downloaded from the thing, like it's about 17 MB. Once you download and installed on it, just click on subscribe. It will ask you the credentials for your Office 365. I'm logging with a different user here.
Yeah, the good thing here with the thin client, this thin client can be installed on any OS or any platform. So let's say you have Windows 10, you have mobile phone, iOS, Android, tablet, any thin client can install this application. It's a very small application, and you can access from anywhere or using any device. You can access your environment.
Yes. For this particular user, he has an access for two different servers. One is the normal server, which is running some remote applications and the desktop application, and the other server is the high performance server, which is a GPU enabled virtual machine to host the high rendering softwares like CATIA and AutoCAD. You can install what are the software that you want to install on it. I'll show you the desktop experience first, then we'll go to how to host an app, how to give the permissions and all.
So yeah, using this technology, we can split our workload. So if we have users that need a high performance GPU machines that need to work on AutoCAD, that need to work on a very high application that need GPUs, we can split our workload. We give these users access to different type of virtual machine. This way we'll be saving cost because will not implement or will not provision all machines with high GPU, so we can split the cost between low virtual machine for regular access and a high performance virtual machine.
Yeah, you'll get the same desktop experience that you have it on your laptop. And here for profile management, we are using an app called FS Logic, where it will store your profile in a different location. Like if you, even if you switch to the any other VM in the pool, you'll have a same data that is available in your profile. Even the customization menu that you have made for your own, it will be the same. And if you it will be the same. And if you install any application via server wide, it will be available for all the users. Like you need not to go and install it for each and every user. And if you can see the internet, like you can take the advantage of Microsoft internet as well. Like you'll get a high speed internet for every user. The speed is dedicated for every user.
Yes, as you can see, this is a session desktop now access. Sandeep plugged in to his Windows 10. As you can see, it's very fast. It's like he's using his own laptop. So a lot of benefits you will get with this type of access, where now all your data can be centralized in one place, which is the WVD, and you can secure the access to this data. So now I know it's hard time for all the companies. We don't know the number of our end users. Sometimes it's fluctuating, like between people are leaving, users are coming. So it's no need to format and hand over this laptop to different user. We can use WVD whenever any user or any employee left the company. It's in one click we can stop the access and our data will be safe and secure, and we can handle the same account for the next user so he can hand over and he can continue on the same desktop. And it's Sandeep, if you can go back to the user interface.
Yes.
As you can see, like it's very fast just to navigate inside. It's like you are using your desktop, so users will not complain. It's slow and everything, and it doesn't need a lot of internet speed. It will work with 5 MB, 6 MB. It's more than enough to connect to this. One more added value, like we can control the access. We'll see from the admin part. As you can see here, everything will be redirected. Of course, we can block or enable the redirection. So here we have the C drive from the local laptop, which is redirected here. We can access our local data as well. And of course, the printers, everything that is connected to our device can be redirected. Even the camera, the USB, we are able to control everything. So we can stop the redirection or we can enable it so you will feel that you are working on your laptop.
And we can host the app in the second way as well. Like let's say if any of the user is using only the some particular applications like Tally or any ERP applications, you can host that particular app as a remote app so that they don't even need to log into the desktop. They can directly access the app from here. And it's really easy to host the app as well. Like we'll show it to how to host the app as well. Just give me a second.
Yes, hosting the app, like as Sandeep told us, we have two types of hosting, app host or session desktop host. With the session desktop host, we'll get a full experience of Windows 10. With the app host, we'll get only this app host. Like this way, if we need the users to access only this app, will host the app as it is. So the users will have only access to this particular app and they can work on the app as they are working on their laptops. Now we'll see now Google Chrome how will load. And Google Chrome can be, of course, any app, even any app located on your on-prem environment. We'll see how you can connect WVD with your on-prem environment and have a hybrid environment where you can host your ERP system and the users can access your ERP system from anywhere with a very secure way. And of course, you will have the control and the logs how these users are accessing your system, when the users access your system, and you can configure conditional access to prevent the users accessing the system from some locations, from untrusted device. We'll have all the options and all the controls. No need now to have point-to-site VPN for each and every user and this headache. With WVD, Microsoft is taking care of everything. Microsoft will host for free the servers, and so we can give access to our users.
See, if you can see, I have opened an Outlook. If you can see the symbol in the down, it's showing as remote desktop application and which is hosted on that particular server. But it's running on my computer by using the resources and the internet of that particular server.
So yeah, as you can see now Sandeep has two Outlooks. The one
Yes.
with the sign remote desktop, it's running actually on
On
WVD, on
yes.
Azure. So we will not feel that it's running there. He's using it like he's using his own Outlook, the on-prem Outlook. And of course, as I told you before, it can be any application and it can connect with your on-prem servers as well. Even if you have DB, anything that need to connect with your on-prem environment, everything is doable.
Vince, here there's a question. Let's take the example of Outlook and Office applications.
Yes.
If a company has 300, 500 users, and they want to create 500 virtual desktops on Azure, they have to install on each and every PC the Office application, or it's installed once. How does it work? Can you explain a bit here? How does it work to push the applications?
Sure, sure. By default, you will get all the Office application, with the configuration when you are deploying WVD, you can put that you need the Office application installed already on all the users and all the servers. Now, for other type of application, we have two way. Either we will host the all the application in one server and all the servers will communicate with this server, or we need to host these application on the servers. Then every user will be able to access this application through WVD session host. So let's say we have 300 users, and these 300 users are accessing five servers. So we just need to install this application on the 5 servers.
And those sessions that you are mentioning, the 300 sessions, am I able to join them to an Active Directory and to also manage them through group policy, GPO?
Sure. Now we'll be showing you with our live demo. We already integrated with Azure Active Directory, and it can be integrated with the local Active Directory as well. So you can integrate WVD with your local Active Directory, and of course give the permission, file permission. We'll see using FS logics how we are saving cost and consolidating all the users' data in one place. This can be any file server or can be a platform as a service using Azure File Share. We'll see now with Sandeep. So you will communicate with your local Active Directory. So nothing will change from your on-prem environment. The same look and feel for the admin. The end users will feel anything, and your data will be consolidated in one place. And of course, it will be very easy to secure this data and to back up this data once all your company data is consolidated in one place. Now Sandeep will show us the high GPU performance server.
This particular machine is having with NVIDIA graphic card with 8 cores, and we are using like 8 core 56 GB RAM virtual machine for AutoCAD and high rendering applications. Like you can host the application and once install it once and have the license required number of licenses, and you can give the access to like 20 people on this particular server, and the
Yes.
performance will not decrease, like it will be the same for all the 20 users.
Mm-hmm. So a very important thing here to mention that each and every user will get a private session for him. So
Yes.
every user will log in, will get a private session for him. So he need to put his license, he need to put his details, all the app data. It's for the unique user. So the users will not share the app data files, everything. It's like every user have his laptop on the cloud.
Yes. As it's having the higher GPU and the higher specs of the machine, the internet speed will also increase according to the specs of the machine. Like you're getting almost 2 Gbps per machine, and it will be divided equally along the users.
And
Now
this is one.
we have, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
This is a big added value for a lot of companies. They use the rendering. They need to upload and download like for with high speed internet. So they render on the same server. They can upload. They can download on the same server. It's very helpful for this type of company.
Yeah, we have seen how to log in with the app. Now we will see connecting via browser. Like I'll go to the URL for WVD, and if I have access to any of the resources, those resources will be automatically populated over here.
Yes, so using any browser, no need to have even this app installed. Using any browser, any device, you just need to go to the URL and you can authenticate like you are authenticating with the client app.
access to these type of applications over here, I can directly go and jump into it directly from the browser.
Yes. Sandeep, with our demo, we authenticate with Azure Active Directory.
Yes,
Yes.
Azure
So
Active Directory domain name services.
yes. So here a good thing as well, and the Azure Active Directory can be your local Active Directory as well when you have hybrid configuration. So all the logins are 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 into one place. So it's very easy now to locate who accessed from where this user accessed using Office 365 feature, security feature. We will see this with Azure Active Directory log analytics. So as you can see from the browser, we have at least 90% for the look and feel that you get from the client. So no need to worry from where I need access my data. I don't have my laptop. Everything this headache, no need to worry about anymore. Sandeep, can you show us now where the data is saved and consolidate using a fast logic?
Yes, we have, as we told that we have enabled the FS logic for these two virtual machines. The user data will be saved in a Azure storage account. We have created one storage account and we have joined that storage account to the Active Directory as a file share. In that file share, the user data will be stored. I'll just
So yeah, you might ask, this is usually a frequently asked question, like one time user 2 will log into first virtual machine and
yes.
sometimes the user 2 will log in to the third virtual machine, how he will get his data. So now the data is not related to the virtual machine. The data is communicating with Azure file share. So whenever the user log in, he will load his profile from Azure file share using FS logic. And it's
Yeah,
a very,
this is the
very
shared
good thing.
folder. Yeah, if you can see this folder, this is the folder for user 2 and it has created one VHD file inside this folder. Whenever he try to log in the any of the VM, automatically it will mount it and all the data will be over there. Like even if you save any data by while logging off, it will detach and it will be stored in the file share. Like if you have a big environment, like if you have 10 to 12 virtual machines or something like that, if you implement on it, the user will be having the consistent data and the consistent modification that they have done to their profile to whichever the VM they have logged in, they will be having the same feel.
So you will not be worried like this user delete his data. So you can always restore. You can back up with this Azure file share. You can take screenshots from it. Then you can always go back to this backup and restore whenever you want.
Yes. Now I'll show you how we'll host an app, remote app, so that you can able to understand how easy to host an app. Here, like as we told that we have one is the default desktop section and the second one is the remote app. Once you go to the remote app, whatever the application that are available that are installed on the particular VM will automatically populate it over here. You just need to select the application that you want to host and let's say I want to host them OneDrive. Just select OneDrive, click on save. See, OneDrive is automatically published over here.
Here
Like
you are saying, Sandeep, if we have 10 virtual machines running together, if you install one application on one of the virtual machine, it will automatically be discovered by Azure portal, and then you can push it to all the users. You just need to install it on one of the machines, or is there any machine in particular where you need to install the apps?
no, sir. No, Chris. We need to install it on each and every virtual machine. Like, let's say if that particular machine is not available for the load, user has to be redirected to the other machine so that if the app is installed over there, they can directly access.
Okay.
Yes. Before going through this, let me just explain a little bit the admin part.
Yeah, sure.
How the hierarchy is. So first we'll have the session group. Please, if you can go to the session host group.
Yeah. This is the session host.
Okay. Inside the session host group, we'll have our host. So the session host group will host our virtual machines that will host the Windows 10 experience for the end user. So inside the session host, we'll have here we have one virtual machine. We might have 10 virtual machines, etc., based on the number of the users. And of course, we'll show you how we can control the accessibility on these virtual machines, how the user will access this virtual machine using the load balance, and how this is saving cost on us. And after the session host, we have the application group connected to this session host. So the session host will host the virtual machines. The application group will host our application. As we saw before, we have two types of application host. We have the remote desktop, the full experience, Windows 10 experience app, and we have the application host. So as you can see here, these are the applications. It's and Sandeep showed us how we can host application. Now Sandeep will show us how we can give permission to a particular user on this application.
Like if you're trying to give the access to the remote app, you can come to the session host pool and the group. Here you can give it like group. You can create a group and you can give the access to the particular group as well, or you can give the access to particular single user as well.
So we have two type of access now. With the Spring version, we can give access to a group. So let's say we have sales team group. We don't need to give access to each and every user. We can put all the users inside the sales team and then give access to the sales team group.
And those groups you are talking about, Vince and Sandeep, are they groups related to Active Directory? So by default, if I'm creating a group on Teams, this group is created automatically on Active Directory. Will I be able to use the same group also for WVD? Is it all linked?
Yes, it is linked, but the group type should be M365 group or security group.
Secure.
Okay.
Okay, these are the types of group that we can give permission for.
Is the same way like for the session desktop also. Just you need to select the session desktop. Just come it over here and you can specify the use. See if you can see here, like I have given an users for one of the group. Who all are the members inside this group? Automatically they'll get the access to WVD. Or I can go manually and I can add the users.
Sandeep, can you show us quickly just an overview on how easy you can create an extra image or VM on WVD?
Sure. As we have already the host pools, you can directly jump into the host pool and you can add the extra machine like if you want to scale up in scale in case of any new users or any new team is coming to the organization, It's really easy to add a host. You can come to the session host and click on add. You'll get an registration. Okay. You need to generate a registration key with expiry date. Then you can click on add, like you'll get the registration key over here. Just copy it, and
Yeah,
either you
like
can add it directly from here, or you can have any existing virtual machine. You can add that existing virtual machine as well.
yeah, let me explain the registration key. So sometimes you might need to add existing virtual machine to WVD environment. So using the registration key of the session host, you will launch a small application given from Microsoft. You will put this registration key and this virtual machine will appear automatically inside the session host pool. So each session host have her own unique registration key where if you need to apply some already existing virtual machine, if you already have some environment on Microsoft Azure and you need to add the WVD environment for the users to access this machine through WVD. So this is the way using this key.
Yeah. I'll get an option to select the specs, the image that are available here. Like you can run Windows 10 Enterprise, or even can host.
Sandeep, your voice is not clear now.
So, you can host in Windows 10 with multi-session, or even you can host in Windows Server 2019 as well. And we have some images with already the apps, Office 65 apps installed, and we have the latest version of Windows as well, like 20H2 is the latest build. You can select the image version, and you can specify the number of virtual machines. Like if you want to add one virtual machine, you can put one, or if you want to add 10 virtual machines, just put 10. Like that means with the same image, with this configuration, 10 machines will be added. And you need to select the group, like and the location of the virtual machine.
But don't add that virtual machine now.
Not adding.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes,
Start.
Sandeep, yeah, can we jump to RDP properties
Yes.
and the load balancing? What are the type and how
Sure.
the users will access these virtual machines?
Yeah. Here in the RDP properties, we have so many properties, like to control the user
Properties. Yeah.
behavior. Like you can restrict the copy paste from the local environment to the WVD, and from WVD to the local environment. Even you can stop the see the session behavior, the compression of bulk DP, and you can block the device redirection that we have seen it before, like the local drives that are connected to my local machine is redirected to the WVD, right? You can control those things over here. USB redirection, camera redirection, storage redirection. Don't redirect any devices. If you click on it, it will stop the redirection.
Yes, these are some predefined controls from Microsoft. As we can have on the advanced tab, there is queries, a lot of queries that you can write and given from Microsoft, where you can control all the single sessions details.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you go to properties?
Yeah. Yes. Here we have mentioned that the maximum session limit per virtual machine is 10. Like that means if you have a pool of virtual machines, only 10 users can log into one virtual machine. And here we have a load balancing algorithms. There will be two types. One is breadth first and the depth first. The breadth first is the users will log in automatically, alternately to the virtual machines. Like let's say you have four virtual machines and eight users, and first user will log into the first virtual machine, and the second user will log into the second virtual machine, and the third user will log into the third virtual machine, and the fourth will log into the fourth, and the fifth will log in again to the first virtual machine, so that it will equally load balance the virtual machine for the performance. And if you selected like depth first, like first eight people will or first 10 people will log into the first virtual machine, and the second 10 people will log into the second virtual machine. Like it will be horizontal and vertical, so that to use the maximum capacity of the VM.
Yes, so using the load balance, will save cost. How we are saving cost? Will show you. Let's say we have four virtual machine, and these four virtual machine are hosting, let's say 40 users. So we have only 10 users now active sessions. So no need to turn on the four virtual machine. We just need to turn on one virtual machine, because one virtual machine is enough to host these 10 users. Whenever the user number 11 need to join, automatically using automation account, the virtual machine will be on, and the users can use the second virtual machine. So if we have 15 users, 16 users, we'll have only two virtual machines on, and we have two virtual machines off. So we are saving cost. We're not like we are using the pay as you go option. So whenever we are using, we are consuming, and this is very good option, and that we can benefit using WVD.
Yes. Using the automation account on the Logic app, like the Logic app will fetch for the users for every 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever the requirement that you configure. Like let's say you can define the one virtual machine to run 20 for the full time of the working hours, and you can automatically schedule the shutdown for the after working hours. Like if any user is trying to log in even the office hours, like if the load is full on the first virtual machine, the according to the request it will monitor and it will turn on the second and third virtual machines. This is the automation account that we have used on the backend, and we have integrated with one Logic app where it will monitor for the user request to log in, and it will act accordingly.
Yes, these are the jobs, and we have the runbooks.
Yes. And as coming to the back end, we have used a wide number of resources over here. Like we have used Azure domain name services to join to the Active Directory of the virtual machines and give the access to the users. Even not necessary to use it. If you have any local Active Directory, you can integrate with your local Active Directory as well. Uh, for the demo purpose, we integrated with Azure domain name services.
Uh, can you go to Azure Active Directory and show the logs, how we can monitor the users that are logging in, and
Yes.
then go to the session desktop and see how we can know like which user is logging in to which host, and how we
Yes.
can log off the users, how we can
Yes. Yes.
communicate with the
I'll,
users.
I'll show you that one. Yes. Just give
Yes,
me.
please.
From the session host, you can see the active logins over here, like who are logged in to the virtual machine. The users will be displayed over here. Even you can log off them and control the users from here. And even you can send the message to them and communicate with them from here. See, I was logged in, but I'm disconnected. Still, I'm getting a message that that the admin has sent it. Even I can log off the users directly from here. It will sign out and it will show me that you are logged off from the virtual machine. And once you go to the Azure Active Directory, you can see the logs over there.
Yes, and
Like,
then before, show us the drain mode. Tell us about the drain mode
yes,
option.
yeah.
Yes.
Like if you have more virtual machines, like more than one, and if you want to do any maintenance on that particular virtual machine, you can put it on the drain mode so that the users will not able to log into this particular virtual machine. So any update that you want to do it on this particular machine, you can put it on the drain mode so that the no connections will be accepted to this machine. It will automatically redirect to the other virtual machines.
Yes, sometimes like if you need to reserve the resources for like particular users that they are logged in on this virtual machine, you can even put the drain mode off. Then all the users will log into another virtual machine. It's a
Yeah.
good option from Microsoft.
Yes. Here you can see the audit logs, like let's say audit logs or the sign-in logs, and select that particular user, and you're able to see that from where particularly they have logged in and all. If you can see, it was showing the IP address also, and it will sometimes it will show the device name as well.
Yeah, can you click on it, please?
Yes.
So you'll have all the details, the location, the device. Here, it's very important that you can enable as well the multi-factor authentication to secure more the authentication to WVD. So MFA will be enabled, so the users will need to authenticate with multi-factor authentication, then they will be able to log into their environment. So it's very, very secure environment. You'll not be worried about the data loss, the data protection, all the security is given from Microsoft. I feel it's a very good solution, especially in our days.
Yeah.
So here you can check the conditional access if there is any conditional access even applied on these users as well.
Yes. And even you can put the conditional access, like let's say only this particular device or the thin client that are they are using is only enroll, then just give the access to the remote desktop. You can do that way as well, or even you can specify the bring your own device policy as well.
Yeah, because like everything will be integrated together when we are using Azure Active Directory. We'll have Intune, Azure Identity Protection. Everything will be integrated together to give us the most secure environment for us. So,
Yes.
Chris, do you think like there is anything needed here? Any clarification on any topics?
Oh no, basically, I think all is clear here. If we can just tackle the questions, if there's any questions, and quickly go over the offerings and the next webinars that are coming.
Sure. Let's start with the questions.
I would like to thank you for attending this webinar. We hope it made Windows Virtual Desktop clearer to you. We will be contacting you to evaluate your company needs and help you choose the right services for you. But if you have any questions or concerns, please contact us and we'll get back to you. And if you want to receive a recording of this session, make sure to send us to share your email now on the chat so we can save it and send it to you, just in case we miss it. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for attending. I'm happy if there is any clarification, I will share my email on the chat. If there is any technical clarification, anything you need to clarify, please feel free to contact me. Thank you everyone for attending.